Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another That Eurovision site interview. At this point, I'm just your MGP skipper here, Ben, and today I am really excited to be joined by the amazing Elsie Bay. Elsie, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. And I guess before we continue, I want to start with a quick icebreaker on what's something that not a lot of people know about you.
Yeah, I was asked this earlier today, and I actually answered that I'm short, but I think I've told people that. But I am much shorter than most people think when they haven't met me.
I mean, you do also have a song called like, Tall People, so somewhat
Yeah,
relating to that.
yeah, a little bit.
And I guess many Eurovision fans will probably recognize you already from last year, but for the ones who don't, do you want to introduce yourself to them?
Yeah, my name is Elsie Bay, and I came into the music industry. I was in a duo when I was 13 to 21 called Elsa and Amelia. So that was how I started. And when we decided to go our separate ways, I started my solo project, Elsie Bay, and I had my debut in MGP 2022, and I'm back now for MGP 2023.
Awesome. And speaking of, you said you competed at MGP 2022. What led to you wanting to come back so quickly in a way?
Well, in the first few months after MGP 2022, I thought, I can't come back next year. That's too soon. But then
Mhm.
in August, when I wrote Living a Dream, it felt like it wasn't that soon after all. It had been half a year, and the upcoming season, it was very tempting. And then when they asked me if I wanted to with this song, I was like, let's do it.
Awesome. And this was the one you wrote. If you don't know, I'm the one who wrote that article that was like, oh, who are the artists who might be competing at MGP? That was me from a while
On
ago. Was this the
on
one from
Twitter?
Norway? Yeah, that was me. That wasn't no,
Uh,
I'm not the crystal ball. I'm not that one.
okay.
I don't but a while ago I wrote an article speculating about who was in it. And so this was the
Uh-huh.
one that you did at the Woods camp, I'm guessing,
Oh
or the
yeah.
one in Czech Republic.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
All right.
did it in on the woods, yeah.
Yeah. And so this MGP also is really different from the one last year because there are no auto qualifiers, and in the final there will be a jury. And so,
Yeah.
what was your reaction when you first heard of these rule changes in a way?
Well, since I was an auto qualifier last year, of course, it's more nerve-wracking to be in this
Mhm.
year because I have to compete twice, but if I'm lucky enough to go through, of course. But at the same time, I think it's better this way. Everyone starts with an even playing field, and I think it's better to have the jury aspect in the same way as in Eurovision instead of having the jury pick the auto qualifiers. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and did the knowledge of a jury influence any way your stage show and how you might approach things?
I don't think that it affected. We haven't, no, I haven't thought about that in terms of staging, but it was one of the reasons why it also was easier to say yes to come back because there were a lot of rule changes this year. And I think had it been exactly the same show, I might have wanted to wait a little longer. But since I wanted to come back and I had the song and the rules were a little bit different, it doesn't feel like a complete repetition of what I did last year.
Yeah. And speaking of the song, it does have very deep lyrics. And so what's really the backstory that inspired the song itself?
It was a little bit of a situation that I was in a few years back. But no, the song is about reaching out to the ones that you love before it's too late, and it's written from the perspective of not having the courage to do that, and therefore making up excuses like, oh, I can always live in a dream, right?
Mm-hmm. And
Um,
when you're going through the songwriting process, like what was the vibe that you were really trying to go for the song?
I I wanted to have like a bit of a back in time sort of vibe overall with the music, and I also wanted it to have a lyric that was meaningful and easy for people to understand because I felt like Death of Us maybe was a little too many um metaphors and that kind of stuff, and I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to write a song that was more honest and easy to follow the storyline in a way.
Yeah, awesome. And still on a slightly different note, on just more Eurovision related, there's a lot of things, and a lot of my colleagues will always want to know what's some of your favorite MGP songs in the past and Eurovision songs in the past?
As for Eurovision, I would say I really liked Arcade. Obviously a big fan of Fairy Tale, and keep coming back to Euphoria.
These are very. Our editor in chief is like one of the biggest Loreen fans in the world, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as for MGP, I mean, I like Kano's entry from when they didn't qualify back in 21. I think that was very strong. And obviously, I'm very biased with a few songs because I was part of writing them, but I still think Witchwoods is pretty cool.
All right, you did write that. I forget you wrote that one.
Yeah, it's a bit different from the Elsie Bay stuff, but
Yeah.
weird and fun session.
Were there any other songs that you were like writing with other artists this year that were in contention to be an MGP that just didn't make it, or was this really your
Um,
only effort?
no, I was actually I wrote with Sandra Ling, who's in the second
Mhm.
semifinal as well, and she told me that it was between this song and one that we wrote, and unfortunately for me, she picked this one, but I support her choice. I think this
Yeah.
is a very MGP friendly song.
And like, if there was ever a time where you had multiple songs in there, was there ever like, oh, is there competition between yourself for the songs, or is it just like, oh, I know I want mine to actually be the one that wins?
Um, well, I think when we wrote Witchwoods, we didn't really have an artist. Emmy wasn't with us in the session, so and I knew that I didn't want to do that song. That wasn't right for my project. And so we were basically out looking to find the right person, and we found Emmy, and everyone was super happy. And with Hammer of Thor, it was always Uda who was gonna sing it in a way
Mhm.
of like she was the one who had her vocals on the demo, and she was the one that it made sense to ask. And so that was never up for debate if I should do it. And with the two other songs, with Death of Us and Love You a Dream, I was the only vocalist there, so I was singing on them, and I wrote the lyrics all by myself, so I made it personal, and it really made sense for me to do them. And I think had I not been asked to do Love You a Dream for MGP, I probably would have released it on my own project regardless.
Oh, nice. And so, in the event that you win, what would representing Norway at Eurovision mean to you?
It's very tempting to say everything, because
Mhm.
but like to try and break it down a little bit, it's a huge opportunity to do something that most people never get the chance to do. It's a huge experience. First of all, to stand in front of 200 million people and showcase your song and representing your country, it's a big deal. It's a
Mhm.
very big deal, and that is something that I have a huge amount of respect for, and would be forever grateful if I could experience that. Um, if that if that helps, and of
Yeah.
course, having the opportunity for my project as well to show my song to so many people. Probably a few of them who've never heard about me would like my music, and that's also very valuable if I'm gonna be able to do what I love.
Right. It is you kept saying project, and so I'm guessing that is what is the difference really between how you approach Elsie versus how like Elsa is then?
Oh, well, I don't know. I mean, Elsa is definitely a songwriter for other people as well, versus Elsie Bay is my artist project. And I think the reason why I say project is because I already had an artist project that was a duo project, Elsa and Amelia.
Mhm.
Um, so it's just become a thing of me calling it the project.
Okay. And for this year in MGP, is there anything that you learned from on the stage last year, or just from anything from your experience last year that you're applying to this year for staging, songwriting, or just takeaways that you had from last year?
Yeah, there's a couple, and some of them we don't need. I don't need to tell you what went wrong last year that I fixed now, but no, I think it's a huge advantage for me that I've done this before and that I've done it so recently and that I know the people. When I came in on the first meeting this year with the design team and the stage manager and everything, I knew them from before. It was like, hey, nice to see you, and that's a very nice place to start. Um, and we all know sort of how we could improve what we did last time. And yeah, hopefully it's going to be better this time. That's what we're aiming for.
Awesome. And do you have any favorites from last week?
I'm a little biased. I'm always a little biased. My boyfriend was a co-writer on a Mami Tsunami song. So yeah, I've been a little bit open about where my vote went this time. I think it's important to support each other.
Yeah. And last year you wore probably one of my favorite outfits throughout the entirety of national final season. That lace jumpsuit was gorgeous. Are you working with a similar designer for that, or do you have anything hopefully lovely in mind this year?
I think it's going to be very, very nice this year as well. I have not tried on the final piece yet, but I'm very excited to do so on Thursday. But it's not the same designer. They switched a little bit of the teams. We don't get to choose our own team in a way, and it's not one designer who has all the 21 acts. I think there are 3 this year, and the person I had last year, she is not in on the MGP project this year, so I have a new one. I am pretty sure I have the same person who made the subwoofer costumes last year. But we don't have anything that looks like that.
You think maybe then that's a good luck charm if they were the ones last year? Maybe just their designer was the good luck charm for winning.
So let's cross our fingers.
Yes. And any way you could give a hint on what it might look like, or what the staging might look like, or...
Well, when are you going to post this?
That's a very good question, because I don't, either tomorrow or the next day. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Okay, because I have told this to the people who are going to post on Wednesday or Thursday or Friday.
It's probably going to end up being then, because I have class and literally, I mean, I have to run after this interview to get to class, and so it won't be done until at least Wednesday.
Okay, so if you don't post today, then I can tell you that I will have dancers on stage.
Interesting. That makes a lot of sense, actually. I do get it's a 3/4. It's very waltzy, and it makes. I was very. That's my personal, but I got a really jazzy vibe from the song, almost like a nice jazz ballad, which I'm a jazz person. I'm a jazz musician, and so I really love just that, and it's really great.
Well, thank you.
Welcome.
So I'm hoping that that's gonna come off as great on stage as it does on the rehearsals we have had. So,
and
excited.
Yeah, with it only being a few days away, how are you feeling about how everything has come together so far?
I'm feeling good. I feel a lot more prepared than I did last time. With that being said, you never know. It only takes a tiny mistake to ruin everything. So, feeling a bit confident, but at the same time, I know that I need to be on my A game, and I know that the decisions we're making the next few days now are going to be crucial. So, ready to step up my game.
And that brings it to the end of my questions list. Is there anything else you'd want to say to the viewers out there?
I need your help. If you don't vote for me, the journey ends here. So if you like my song, please help me out.
And to vote for Elsie, you can do that at nrk.no/MGP. There's going to be a voting link at the very top. I believe, I know you can vote pretty much from anywhere in the world. So you can, I was able to vote last week. So you can vote from anywhere in the world. To watch, it's also on the same part. You can just go to the Direct TV part on the very top of the NRK website, and you'll be able to watch her there. Elsie, thank you so much, and good luck. And I can't wait to see your performance on Saturday.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me.
You're welcome.